This video is brought to you by HonorFirst.com, a nonprofit organization. I'm Clifford Gill, a retired Border Patrol Assistant Chief and one of its officers. In the history of the U.S. Border Patrol, two long-standing claims continue to be widely believed: that either El Paso was the first sector and station, or that Detroit was the first sector and station. These stories are familiar and often repeated, but the historical record shows something different. When the Border Patrol was established in 1924, there were 32 sub-districts, all created at the same time. No single location was first. Understanding how these myths took root helps us appreciate the true origins of the patrol. Many have debated which location deserves the title of first sector. El Paso and Detroit are the two contenders, each with its own legacy, but the real story is more nuanced. To lay a foundation, on May 28, 1924, Congress passed an appropriations bill providing funding to increase the land border patrol functions the Bureau of Immigration had been conducting in one manner or another for years. At the time, fiscal years began on July 1st and ended on June 30th. However, the Immigration Service received $100,000 of the authorized $1 million approximately 5 weeks before the start of the fiscal year. Indications are that the Immigration Service used those 5 weeks to hire personnel, equipment, and to rent space simultaneously nationwide so that operations could start on July 1st, 1924, the first day of fiscal year 25. El Paso's claim is rooted in tradition and reinforced by the 1999 slogan, "Where the Legend Began," which was created for the patrol's 75th anniversary. El Paso also became home to the first National Border Patrol Training School in 1936. These milestones gave the city lasting symbolic importance. But in 1924, the patrol sectors were called sub-districts and were assigned under immigration districts, and the El Paso sub-district was simply one of the 32 sub-districts. No evidence shows that El Paso was activated ahead of the others. The displayed document from June 27, 1924, is a report from the El Paso District, also known as District 25, showing that it hired 3 patrol inspectors in charge to lead its 3 sub-districts. Even within this document, the El Paso sub-district isn't given the distinction of being first among the 3. Detroit's claim is tied to its unique administrative structure. Detroit was one of the few places that had 3 levels of the Immigration Service hierarchy: a district headquarters, a sub-district headquarters, and a border patrol station. Its layered structure and operations gave Detroit a strong early presence, and over time, this prominence was interpreted as proof that it must have been the first sector. The displayed document from July 3, 1924, is a report from the Detroit district, showing that it hired 3 patrol inspectors in charge to lead its 3 subdistricts. Like the document from the El Paso district, within this document, the Detroit subdistrict isn't given the distinction of being first among the 3 listed. Further, no significance of first should be attributed to the date of the reports. The historical records leave a small variation of interpretation in how many subdistricts were created in 1924. Some indications show 30, others indicate 32, but all agree that they were activated together when the patrol began. However, in 1926, with General Order 61, the first national-level leaders were appointed, which are today's Chief of the Border Patrol. One was based in Detroit and one in El Paso. Rule Davenport, on the left, served on the northern border in Detroit, and George Harris, on the right, served on the southern border in El Paso. Their positions helped reinforce each city's importance, but the documents do not place either city above the others in chronology. The debate over the first station mirrors the debate over the first sector. Again, the 2 cities that stand out are El Paso and Detroit. And again, the truth does not point to a single first location. El Paso's claim comes from a numbering convention that began in 1926 under General Order 61. Sub-districts were assigned consecutive numbers starting with number 1 within each district. Indications are that the numbering convention also extended to the stations within a district. Stations that were co-located with the sub-district headquarters were referred to as Station 1. Therefore, each sub-district could have a Station 1. Over time, the true meaning behind Station 1 was lost, and many assumed it indicated chronological primacy. It did not. The name Station 1 was simply an administrative label. Although El Paso has carried the Station 1 tradition forward for decades, no sector does it more than Laredo. Today, Laredo still numbers all of their stations, yet like El Paso, they too have forgotten the 1926 origin. Also, rather than preface the number with the word station, that use the word base. This makes Laredo the best living reminder of the numbering system. Detroit's claim comes partly from long-standing folklore that Rule Davenport may have opened a station in Detroit in mid-June of 1924, weeks before the official launch of the Border Patrol. Historian Joseph Banco noted that it is said that Detroit Station turned on the lights first, but confirmed that no records support it. All stations were most likely officially activated on July 1, 1924, the first day of the fiscal year. Even after correcting the myths, the importance of El Paso and Detroit remains clear. El Paso played a major role in shaping the patrol's identity. Frank Berkshire's 1918 proposals for a federal border force originated there, and the first National Border Patrol Training School opened in El Paso in 1936. George Harris, one of the patrol's first national level supervisors, was also based in El Paso. Detroit's importance comes from its administrative structure and its role in early national leadership. It housed a district headquarters, a sub-district headquarters, and a station, and it served as the posting for Rule Davenport, the northern counterpart to Harris. Detroit's location and administrative complexity made it central to early border enforcement operations. While El Paso and Detroit each played major parts in the patrol's early development, it is important to recognize the collective legacy of all the original sub-districts established in 1924. Whether there were 30 or 32, each one contributed to the patrol's nationwide launch. Their combined efforts formed the true foundation of the organization. The myths and folklore surrounding the first sector and the first station are compelling but not supported by any historical record. The Border Patrol began as a decentralized nationwide effort, with all sub-districts activating at the same time. By acknowledging this, we gain a fuller, more accurate picture of the patrol's origins, one that honors contributions across the entire organization. For those who want to explore this history further, the Honor First Historical Documents Library and the Honor First History page provide extensive archival material. Retired Deputy Chief Patrol Agent Joseph Banco's Honor First series offers detailed research on the patrol's origins, evolution, and major historical milestones. By embracing the facts rather than the myths, we not only correct the historical record, but also deepen our appreciation of the Border Patrol's complex and collective legacy. HonorFirst.com gratefully acknowledges the Border Patrol Museum and historian Joseph Banco. Their historical materials and our long-standing partnership continue to enrich our shared efforts to preserve the proud legacy of the U.S. Border Patrol.